Hello students, welcome to this class. In the previous part of this chapter, we read the life story of Evelyn Glennie. Here, I am with the second part of this chapter titled as the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. So first of all, I would like to tell you about this famous person, Bismillah Khan. He was a very renowned Shehnai player in India. He was a legend because he did something which has historical significance. He played the Shehnai on the day India got independence, that is 15 August 1947 at the Red Fort. Before the Prime Minister gave his speech, Bismillah Khan played Shehnai in order to signify something auspicious. What was auspicious? That India got freedom. That's why he is called a legend. So before we continue reading, let's discuss something about these peoples. So children, do you know who are these people? The first one is Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia, flute player. The second one, Ustad Bismillah Khan, playing sitar. The third one are violin sisters or queens of violin. They are named as Dr. M. Lalitha and M. Nandini. The fourth one, you all know that it is Zakir Hussain playing tabla. The fifth one, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan playing sarod. The sixth picture is related to Maestro Kunnukadi Vaidyanathan playing violin. And the seventh picture is of Ustad Sultan Khan playing sarangi. The last picture, you all know that it is Ustad Bismillah Khan playing Shehnai, about whom we will know more in this chapter. So let's start. Think of the Shehnai and the first thing you will probably imagine is a wedding or a similar occasion or function. The next would probably be Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro, playing this instrument. Whenever we think about Shehnai, two things come in our mind. The first one is wedding or any auspicious occasion, or second one is the name of Ustad Bismillah Khan, the Shehnai maestro. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence for it had shrill, unpleasant sound. Banned means prohibited, shrill means sharp music. So pungi was a musical instrument that was the predecessor of the Shehnai. When the Mughals ruled India before the Britishers came, there was a very famous Mughal ruler named as Aurangzeb. He didn't allow the pungi be played in his royal residence because he felt it had a sharp, unpleasant sound. So pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Generic name means a name given to the whole group or class. Reeded means wind instruments. So, any musical instrument which is made with reeds, like we have flutes, etc., they all are classified as pungi. So pungi is a broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of pungi. Revived means brought back to live. Tonal quality means sound quality. As Aurangzeb had banned all these reeded noisemakers, he had banned pungi in his royal residence. No one thought that one day such noisemakers or such instruments which made unpleasant sound would be played and their sound would be liked by the audience. As the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber who belonged to a family of professional musicians and he wanted to play the pungi. But he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant and so he decided to improve the sound quality of this instrument. So he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than pungi and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Hollow means empty from inside. The barber selected a pipe which was empty from inside. It was longer than and broader than the pungi and he made 7 holes on its body. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. So, when he blew air in this pipe by closing and opening some of its holes, he found that the sound produced by the instrument was soft and melodious. Then He played this instrument in the royal court. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. The instrument so different from the pungi and had to be given a new name. When it was played by this barber into the royal court, all the persons who were present there, they were very pleased, and all the members of the royal court decided that because the instrument is different from pungi, so its name should be also different. Now there is a story behind the name given to this instrument. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chamber and was played by a nai, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So the story is, this instrument was first played in the royal court or Shah's residence and it was played by a barber. The Indian name of barber is Nai. So it was called Shehnai. The first part is Shah, which stands for the king, and the second part is Nai, that is also related to barber. So this instrument was finally named as Shehnai. In this picture you can see two pictures are there. One is of pungi and the second one is of Shehnai. The sound of Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious means a sign of good luck. So the sound which was produced by Shehnai was considered to be a good omen, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Indispensable means necessary. So because of this quality, the Shehnai was played on good occasions, and now it's common to hear Shehnai being played at many temples and at many wedding functions also. So in the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Ensembles means things here, or you can say the instruments. So then in the ancient time, the Shehnai was the part of Naubat. Naubat means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments, and these 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court, and Shehnai was also one of them. The Shehnai was played at the king's court, in temples and weddings. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing its instrument to onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. Then it was used on stage in performances, and its credit goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Shehnai player, and people wanted to hear him to play the Shehnai. Now, as a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. So now let's know something more about the life story of Bismillah Khan. When he was 5-year-old, he lived in an old estate named Dumrao. In present day, it is in Bihar. He used to play Gilli Danda, an old sport quite similar to cricket. Also, he would go to the nearby Bihariji temple. Although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim, he would go to the temple and he would also sing his song Chaita in Bhojpuri language. Bhojpuri language is the popular language in Bihar. Then when he would finish his reciting, then he would get a big laddu as reward, and the weight of that laddu was 1.25 kg. This was a reward given to Bismillah Khan by the local Maharaja for singing the Chaita. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So this was a reward given to Bismillah Khan by the local Maharaja. Then now the writer says that this incident occurred when Bismillah Khan was 5 years old. He would get laddu as a prize, but after 80 years he earned the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So this is the distance that he has travelled in his life. A big change in his life that was brought by a big laddu to the Bharat Ratna. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather Rasool Bucks Khan was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. His father Paigambar Bucks and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians in Bihar. So, in the lineage on his father's side was full of great Shehnai players. We can say that Bismillah Khan acquired the skill of playing the Shehnai from his ancestors. His grandfather was a great Shehnai player whose name was Rasool Bucks Khan. He played Shehnai in the court of Bhojpur king, and his father Paigambar Bucks and other ancestors of his father's side were also famous as great Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan also started learning music at an early age when he was just 3 years old. His mother took him to her parents' house, to his maternal uncles. They lived in Banaras. Today it is in Varanasi. It is called Varanasi. And when Bismillah Khan saw his maternal uncle playing the Shehnai, he was also attracted towards it, and he also wanted to learn how to play Shehnai. Soon, Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bucks to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bucks was employed to play the Shehnai. In no time, he started going with his uncle Ali Bucks to the Vishnu temple in Banaras. Ali Bucks was on a duty to play Shehnai at the Vishnu temple of Banaras. Ali Bucks would play the Shehnai, and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Captivated means attracted. When Bismillah Khan saw his uncle play the Shehnai, he would get attracted towards it, that he would sit there for hours listening him to play the Shehnai. Gradually, he also started learning to play the Shehnai and would practice for the whole day. He never got tired. He was so hardworking. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and the banks of Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he would practice in solitude. Apprentice means trainee, haunts means places, and solitude means a lonely place. So, for many years he remained in Banaras. He would visit the temple of Balaji, the temple of Mangala Maiya, and would remain on the bank of the river Ganga, where he would practice playing the Shehnai all by himself. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. So here we come to know the talent of Ustad Bismillah Khan, how he developed ragas with the help of Shehnai. He was so inspired and motivated by the river Ganga, it provoked him to improve his performance, and he also invented many ragas and that were considered impossible to be produced by a Shehnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan worked hard and invented different sounds with the Shehnai. So it was his great achievement. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." When he was 14 years of age, he went with his maternal uncle Ali Bucks to the Allahabad Music Conference. Recital means performance. Ustad Fayaz Khan, who was a renowned classical vocalist, was so impressed by his performance and said if he would work hard like this, he would make a name in the field of music. With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. So when the All India Radio started in 1938, it's a radio station at Lucknow. Ustad Bismillah Khan started performing there. Often his Shehnai performance would be on air. It was a big break for him, which made him famous. When India gained independence on 15 August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to greet the entire nation through his Shehnai. He played Shehnai from the Red Fort on this memorable and auspicious occasion. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Trust with Destiny speech. So the rag that was played by him on the Red Fort on this grand occasion was Rag Kafi. He played it before the audience, and after his performance, the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, gave his famous speech, which was named as Trust with Destiny. Tryst means to meet, and at that time India met with its luck, its good luck on this grand day, means it got independence. So it was a big day for all the Indians, and it was the day of celebration of independence. So this is all for today, children. I hope it is clear to all of you. Thank you.